checking in. Today was a travel day, so just kind of getting on here a little late, but thought I would kind of touch base. Travel days sometimes what that means is not with the horses for the day. So kind of get a little bummed about that sometimes, but I try to make the best of it, and I always find a little something like traveling or can't get out to the horses or whatever. Like what could I do to kind of add to like I'm benefiting my horsemanship. So you guys have probably all been at some point when you're on a plane and there's that one like token kid that's screaming at the top of his lungs or just crying or whatever. Well, I promise you, today I'm at the worst shot I've ever experienced on a plane. It was the highest thrilling, just most disrespectful, rude child that you've ever been around. It was incredible, and there's about 2 seats behind me, so I got a really up and close deal. And so what does that mean? Is that going to help my horsemanship? It was what I've noticed with kids or parents, it's if they have a program that seems like it's something they can rely on, then typically I feel like the kid's pretty good. If there's a program that they got, right? But if they're just kind of reaching out or just grasping at straws, it's pretty evident. Now, I don't know the situation. Maybe there can certainly be external circumstances. I was on the receiving end of the screaming, which is the plane, and it was incredible. I'll just say it was absolutely incredible. And I just thought to myself, these people program. I'm not saying they need a horsemanship program, but you can tell people that have not trained many things in life, right? Maybe they have jobs or whatever, and they're probably good at those. But there's a difference between having a job or a career and being able to train something. And I've noticed there is a big difference with people's success with lots of things in life that require training, whether it's a dog, horse, people, I don't know, training that rooster or something. If you know how to train something start to finish and you've experienced some issues along the way, I feel like a person approaches things much differently, and they have a much better chance of things turning out in the long run. So, what was today's lesson other than you should also carry earplugs on an airplane, or spend that extra few $100 on the Bose noise canceling earmuff headphones? Get a program, especially if it's for your horse. Because I was just thinking, you know what? That's kind of like people and the horses a little bit. Is folks, they were just kind of reacting to the situation. The parents, they were pretty subtle about it. But they were just reacting, trying to man as best they can. But there was no shove cue. There was no signal. There was no dealing with that kid, at least with those parents. There wasn't happening. And I don't know all the circumstances, but I was man, this kid's going on 30 minutes. This kind of needs a shut off. I think the dad kind of finally stepped a little bit, but I was just man, this is really. And it just got me to think about people and their horses. That was a horse, and somebody owned that horse, and that was their system. They would be rude because that horse. By the time they got that thing reeled in, way too late. Way too late. That horse was already the difference of a horse versus a kid. the kid could probably scream, carry on, and not really cause anything other than like hearing loss for the plane, the people on the plane. But that's probably really happening. But like if your horse panics like that around them or on them or whatever, like some serious things could really happen, right? So it's even more at that point that you have things like a shut-off switch and immediate like attention, get a focus, get respect going, get some try going. Like there's some things that are going to work, particularly when you and your horse aren't in the mindset for them to work. You can get them to work. Such an important thing. So, and I'm not going to be on here long because I got to get driving, but something about what program are you relying on with your horses, your animals, things in your I'm sure a lot of you have a system, but it's very evident when I see people try to train other things when they haven't had a system for like the other things in life. It's very evident. And it's not a criticism. The issue is if you're not used to rely on some sort of a system that where it is, and you're going to choose to try to train a horse, you're going to get most likely in trouble. And it's at least going to be massively frustrating. Okay? But you could get yourself in a serious bind if you don't have a system you can rely on. And that's not to say that every horse is the same and that everything's identical, but you need something that you can kind of rely on when like things aren't working. You're like, okay, this is what we're going to do. This is the situation. We're on a plane with 250 people and we need kids to like chill. So this is a system we're not just going to like hope and pray and beg and then let the entire plane literally just suffer with this screaming. Because it wasn't just like a little crying because he was hungry, right? He was having a full like blow up meltdown crisis of his entire life, and he was like, I don't know, 3 or 4 or whatever. Anyway, I think I'm gonna get going here. He was on here, Sketcher. Can't really understand your audio. Okay. Oh my gosh. Oh, the audio's sketchy. Well. Okay, well, I know why, because we're freaking using this app driving. So, well, we're going to credit me for the live today.